Hello everyone, welcome to William and the Magic Box. Today on our show, we are going to have Brian. Brian is from Scotland, but he lives in London. So let's see what Brian has to say. Enjoy the interview.
Perfect. Hello.
Hello Brian, how are you?
I'm doing perfect. How are you?
I'm very well. Thanks so much for taking the time this afternoon for the interview this evening. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
So tell me, how's your day been so far?
I've not done an awful lot today. Today's a day off for me. I was working all of this week and last week, so I just wanted to have a day off and just be nice and lazy today.
Amazing. Brian, so tell me, where are you from?
So I'm from Scotland. I'm originally from the Highlands of Scotland, but I currently live in London these days. I'm coming up to my first year in London in about a couple of weeks' time.
And why London?
Why London? Because that's where all the acting opportunities are in the world. In the UK, anyway. Sorry, not the world. You like LA and stuff. I forgot about that place, but yeah. But all the acting in the UK is unfortunately around London.
I mean, absolutely. And tell me a little bit about your career as an actor. How everything started?
I didn't have any intention of being an actor. My mum wanted to put me into a drama club because she sort of felt like I needed to do something with my time when I was a kid, and as I was going through that, I still didn't want to be an actor. I actually didn't like going to this drama club, but it wasn't until I went to uni and there was this girl I quite fancied, and she told me that she was going to this drama club, and I was like, oh yeah, I'm also going to this drama club. And because of that, I ended up meeting people who got me into the industry, and I ended up finding work through various people from that drama club. And yeah, one thing led to another, and ended up doing this career all because of this one time I had this crush on this girl, really.
Oh wow, amazing that you follow the advice of someone special for you at the time.
I was a lonely 18-year-old boy, what can I say?
And so far, what's the best part of living in London?
Best part of living in London? I suppose having a lot to do around me, being very close by. Yeah, you know, like before, whenever I needed to go to London to do auditions or do something very particular, I'd have to travel like 7 hours on the train, or 5 hours train, or 2-hour flight from Glasgow. 1 hour flight from Glasgow, but like other time getting to the airport and that. London's got a lot going for it. There's a lot of opportunities down here, lots of interesting people, and yeah, London's just a very exciting city.
I see. And so I believe that before you moved to London, you've been a few times because of your work.
Yeah, actually not massively. I will have come down to London maybe about 3 times, 2 or 3 times. So yeah, a few times, but not quite a few. Like I didn't really spend an awful lot of time in London when I was younger, mainly because I just don't like London that much. Personally, but professionally I like London. But as a place, I much prefer Scotland. I'm a Scottish person. I'm not an English person.
Amazing. Okay, Brian, so before we start our journey, William the Magic Box, would you like to tell me something interesting about yourself?
Something interesting about myself. Okay, so I'm half Indonesian, half Scottish. My mum is from, obviously she's from Indonesia. I can't speak a word of Indonesian. I'm not a big fan of Indonesian food either. So I guess you could call me a fake Asian person. I'm a faction, as it were. But in terms of interesting things about me, I have 6 different jobs.
Wow.
Actor being one of them. I do front of house in a theatre. Well, actually, I have 5 jobs now because I recently left one of them. But I used to do party entertaining. I do, I'm a pub quiz host as well. I do bar work now and then, and I do school administration.
My goodness, that's a lot.
Very busy. Rent in London is very high, so I need to make that somehow.
Absolutely. I think in London you need to do a lot. You cannot just have one job. You need to manage to do different things to keep things going.
Yes, and London's one of those places where you can find work very quickly. Like you can leave one job and then there is literally another one just around the corner, and I think that's one thing I really like about London.
Amazing. Very good. Brian, are you ready to go on a beautiful journey through your memories in life and to share your point of views?
Yes, of course. Let's go.
Amazing. Welcome to William and the Magic Box. So this is my best. Okay, full of random fun questions. I'm just gonna play a song now just for us to move a little bit before the first question. Okay, let's do it. Brian, so before we start the game, through the journey, if there is a question that you don't want to talk about for some reason, you don't want to answer, always can change, okay? All very friendly. Right, first question for you is, if you were to raise a child, yeah, what are the most important things would you like them to learn?
Every action has a consequence. I think that was one of the main things that was instilled into me when I was growing up. Whatever you do will have some sort of reaction in life, whether that's on you or whether that's on someone else. Don't do anything that will cause pain or misery to others. And I think that's probably one of the most valuable lessons you can give a child. I think one of the failings of modern parenting is parents don't teach kids what can happen if things go wrong, or if or unintended consequences. And children should think about what could happen. I worked as a party entertainer up until about a couple of weeks ago, and I see many kids that don't get reprimanded, that don't get taught that hitting someone will cause them hurt, or laughing at someone will hurt someone's feelings. Is the biggest problem with modern parenting, I think, and I think that needs to change. So that's what I would do: teach them that consequences are real.
Amazing. You're saying that your mom is from Indonesia. Growing up, did you always have did you always have been there before? Have been in Indonesia or not?
I mean, I was probably in Indonesia maybe once every 2 years when I was growing up. That sort of continued on through life, but that sort of stopped now because of COVID. I've not been back there for nearly 4 years now. But yeah, I went to Indonesia quite a lot when I was a kid. Yeah.
You have siblings?
That's a difficult question. Yes, I don't know who they are. My biological dad has traveled around the world and has been with many women and has many children that are not on paper. I don't know the answer to that one. But that's a fun fact about me. That's a fun, interesting fact about me. I have siblings, I just don't know who they are.
So you grew up as an only child?
Yes, very much so.
I see. Next question. Let's do it. Next question for you is, where is the most exotic place have you ever been?
Okay, so I'm not going to say Indonesia because that's because we've already spoken about that. I would say Thailand. Been to Thailand. Love Thailand. Absolutely glorious country. And I would say probably my most favorite country in the world that isn't Scotland. Thailand, just beautiful beaches, amazing food. Nature is fantastic, and of course the people there are just so warm, and not just temperature-wise. I mean, like from the heart as well. I'm sure they are very warm physically because it's a very hot country. The hospitality in Thailand is just incredible. The food there is out of this world, and Bangkok as well is my favorite city. It's east meets west. It's glorious. It's glorious.
Absolutely. I think Thailand is one of the places that is a must to go because I think it's just amazing and quite cheap as well. You know what I mean?
Yes.
That's the best part.
You walk down the streets in Bangkok and a bowl of noodles with prawns and or chicken, whatever you want, that will set you back $1.20. This country, that'll set you back about at least £7, £7 or £8.
Yeah, absolutely. Next question, Brian. Let's do it. Before the next question, tell me when was the moment that you realized that you were born to be an artist, to be a child, to be an actor? There was a moment in your life, or you literally like start realizing that at the time you were growing up?
I knew I was artistically inclined from a very, very young age. My biological dad, he was an engineer, or rather, he trained in engineering. And I never really identified with that. And actually, my stepfather as well, he is a computing programmer, as well as my mum, she works with computers. And I never really had a passion for what it was they did growing up. So I was always one of those kids that liked drawing, that liked making up stories, that liked acting out things, that liked, dancing about the place, that liked standing in front of my grandma's oven and pretending I was on the news because I had this like sort of glass thing which reflected back on me, and it looked like a television. So from a very, very young age, I knew I was an artistic person. But the question was, when did I know I wanted to be an actor? Probably about the age of 22, 21, okay. 22.
I see. And did your mom or your stepdad, did they support you through your journey as an actor?
No, they didn't. It took a lot of convincing. There was one moment where I graduated university in media production, actually, because start off with I wanted to make films, like be behind the camera, and they didn't really support that either, because it wasn't a good job prospect, which I do agree with in some regards. And what they decided for me was my mum decided that she wanted me to be a teacher. So she was like, no, Brian, you're not going to do acting. You're going to go be a teacher. So she's going to send me to uni to go study teaching. But fortunately, which I'm very grateful for the university admission panel for rejecting me pretty much on the spot. And I was like, thank you. You have no idea how much this means to me. And I'm pretty sure they weren't expecting that reaction. And I was like, you have no idea how much I don't want this right now. So thank you. So it didn't, there was a certain point where they accepted it. And that was until I got my first touring job, as an acting touring job. And I think when they realized that I got that, and then when I got into drama school a year later, they realized that there's more to me than it's just a little hobby or whatever, that I do take this seriously. And I think at that point, that's when they accepted it, I think.
And nowadays, they realize that is your passion, is yourself. They kind of support you right now.
There is a little inkling, or what I believe anyway, there's a little inkling of them that still thinks I should return to the fold, return to the 9 to 5 or whatever. And they as parents have to believe that. I suppose that's what they have to do. But I think that's not the life for me, and I think I'll always be at odds with them. They support me as far as they want me to do well in my chosen career, but I think there's that little bit of them that want to drag me back to it. But yeah, I can't fault them for that.
I see. All right. Next question is, what has been the happiest point of your life?
I suppose things come and go, don't they? Happiest point of my life. Well, I suppose you can't really put a measure on happiness, I guess. But I suppose last year, when I was still at drama school and the sun was out, was in a fairly happy, I would say a very happy relationship. I was somewhat TikTok famous for a little bit. I had loads of friends living with me in my student halls. I was going to the drama school of my dreams. Everything was working properly. And but yeah, I suppose many things in life are temporary. Like I don't have any of those things anymore. Because I've graduated drama school. I've left that student accommodation. live somewhere else, and that person, I'll still speak to them now and then, but you know, we move in life, people come, people go.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think life is like a roller coaster. It's up and down, you know what I mean? And you mentioned about TikTok videos. So tell me a little bit about your TikTok that went viral.
Yeah, so I was, this is going to sound big-headed, but I'll just say it as fact. I was a fairly big TikToker last year in Scotland. I had a series called Rating Scottish Places, where I basically just spoke about various towns and cities in Scotland and what I thought of them, and that seemed to do very well. And yeah, it felt good, you know, walking down Buchanan Street in Glasgow and getting recognised by people, and which was really nice actually. I was actually on a date with this girl last year, who didn't believe me, who thought, oh, he's just a loser. Fair enough, I am. But as I was in this Tim Hortons, this guy came up behind me, tapped me on the shoulder, and was like, hey, you're off of TikTok, aren't you? And I'm like, yeah. And then I turned around back to her, and I was like, you were saying? And she was like, still don't believe it. But yeah, I don't really do as much TikTok anymore, because I think there's more to life than TikTok, and you know, you can put out as many videos as you want that go viral, but you know, at the end of the day, they're just numbers, comments by strangers, and yeah, it brings in a little bit of money, but you know, I think there's more to life than just social media.
Cool. Next one, let's do it, Brian. I like your move. I cannot do something like, oh my goodness.
I can move my ears as well. Wait, can you see that?
Wow. Yeah. Do your eyebrows again. Can you say something so the camera can go on you when you are doing it?
Say again?
Can you say something when you are doing so the camera can?
So this is me moving my eyebrows independently. This is me moving my ears independently. And and I can flare my nostrils as well. Yeah. Yeah.
My goodness.
My face is independent.
Next question is talking about happiness. What does happiness mean to you?
It's a really deep question. What does happiness mean? I guess happiness is satisfaction. I think that's what it means. Happiness is just general satisfaction with, you know, things that are going on in your life. What does it mean? I guess happiness means stable relationship, stable finances, and being surrounded by good company, good food, good drink, and you know, having a good video game to play at the weekend. I think.
Do you think that happiness is a choice?
No, I don't think it is. I think some people can be blessed or cursed with happiness, and well, I suppose happiness is very subjective, you know. But I mean, you can also make the most of a bad situation as well. But fundamentally, I don't think happiness is a choice. I think, you know, we have our own reactions to situations, and if we control things, like, you know, if someone we love dies, then we can't control how we feel. Ultimately, as well, if we get given a promotion in work or whatever, then yeah, you know, we can't help feeling happy about that, you know.
Cool. Ready for another one?
Yeah.
Let's do it. Next question, Brian from Scotland. Next question is, what is the best present have you ever received, and why you consider that?
Ooh, best present I've ever received. That is a very difficult question. It's a very, very difficult question. I actually can't process that one, because I suppose you can define present in two different ways. You can define it as, you know, lessons given to you in life, or you know, physical material objects. Well, I guess in terms of material objects, I think the best thing that was ever given to me was this video game called Mount Blade, which I've played for at least 800 hours across my entire life, and I think it's the most time I've spent on this one video game. I think the game was only about £20, really good value for money there. My dad bought it for me, yeah. But in terms of the best present or best gift, gift of knowledge, as big-headed as that sounds, I think being the lesson of saving money, how to save properly, and because of that, like I always have money to fall back on if things get rough. I think my mum has taught me very well, and I think I can be given like really great material things, but the lesson of putting money away for a rainy day, absolute top present.
Amazing. Yeah, those knowledge from our parents, we never forget. We always carry on, and we always be grateful for that.
Absolutely.
Next one. Before the next one, tell me, what do you miss the most of Scotland so far since you've been living in London?
So I miss many things about Scotland. Tap water, for instance, it's the very first thing. Now, when I first arrived in London, it was about 3 a.m. in the morning, and I hadn't drunk anything for about 4 or 5 hours because it was just a very bad drive. Roadworks everywhere. Now, when I first arrived here, the first thing I did was poured some tap water from my kitchen into this glass, and I just swigged it. And as soon as I tasted it, I was like, "What the heck is this? Like, this tastes weird." And then I remembered, I live in London. Yeah, that's right. I live in London. Tap water here tastes weird, and in Scotland it comes from the hills, it comes from the mountains. What else did I miss? The price of a pint. In Aberdeen, where I used to live, the price of a pint is about £3.50, £4. London, it's about £7, £8. It's mad. It's mad.
Oh my goodness, it's a big difference for sure. So Aberdeen is the place where you grew up?
Not quite. I mean, yes, but so my childhood was in a town called Thurso in the Highlands, and then my teenage young adult years were in Aberdeen, and then I went to drama school in Glasgow.
All right. Next question is, what hurt your feelings?
What hurts my feelings? Many things. I think probably fundamentally rejection, I think hurts my feelings, I guess. From jobs, from auditions, from women, I guess, as well. And I guess, just from general social interaction, I don't think anyone likes to be rejected. I mean, find me someone that does like to be rejected. I think that'd be more interesting, I would think. But I guess anything I can think of probably just leads back to rejection, I think, at the end. Rejection, loss, losing things. I lost my Oyster card the other day. It was a very limited edition Oyster card, which I was very annoyed about. I thought I put it into my wallet, but I actually put it outside of my jacket, and I think it fell on the floor. And I'm still really annoyed with myself for that, because I think the card is worth about 20 quid. It had 7 quid on it, but the card itself is worth a little bit more because it was limited edition.
You say something about rejection. I think nobody's ready for rejection. I think all of us, we don't know how to deal with rejection. Yeah.
Yes.
Saying that, how do you put yourself back or all together when you, first of all, I reject for a girl? There's a mechanism that you use to put yourself back to normal again, and is the same feeling when you get rejected for like an audition, or is it a different way of dealing with?
Well, I mean, I get about 2 auditions a week. I'm averaging about 2 auditions a week when living here in London. So, I mean, the rejections I get from auditions, it's like an everyday thing now. Like, I don't really care. I mean, it still stings a little bit, but like generally on the grand scheme of things, I don't care. Getting rejection from dates or whatever, that's not an everyday thing. That's maybe once every month or whatever. Once a month, maybe once every 2 months. But and I would say it stings a little bit more. But when I used to live in Scotland, before I decided I wanted to be an actor, I applied for a lot of regular jobs, office jobs, whatever, and I would get rejected like all the time, and I just didn't really know how to process that. So, yeah, rejection stings.
How do you find the auditions in London? Brian, how does it come across? You just check online, there's like agencies. How do you find your
Yeah.
auditions?
So I have an agent. She puts me forward for many auditions,
Mhm.
and I don't really need to do that much to get the auditions. Like I do find my own auditions every now and then, but she finds me more than I do.
All right. Next one. Let's do it. All right. Next question is, what is the best advice have you ever given?
Best advice I've ever given. I can tell you many times I've given bad advice. Now, when so last year, I was a student ambassador in my student halls where I used to live. I was the age of 26, 27, living in a student residence where the vast majority of the people who were living there were about 17, 18, 19. Now, because of that, like I wasn't there by choice. I was there because of COVID. Like I couldn't leave. I physically couldn't leave. And because of this role, I was forced to give so much advice. And what this felt like was me giving advice to my younger self every single day. Because I was a student ambassador, people came to me with all their problems all the time, how they felt about their girlfriends, their boyfriends, how they dealt with things like sexual assault. A lot of things happened. A lot of bad things happened. There's a lot of bullying as well. Not an awful lot of bullying, but there was bullying, and people would come to me and they'd be like, "How do I sort this out?" And I would, I won't go into any details, but I would say what I did and how this affected me and how to go through with it. I can't, you can't really put a measure on what the best advice someone gives is. But I guess overall the advice was don't worry about today because you're still young. There's always tomorrow. I think that's really what my advice came down to when I lived at the student halls. Worry about tomorrow, not today.
Amazing. Very good. Right. I have 3 questions left for you. Let's do it. But before the next question, I'd like you to tell me since you've been acting, can you share like a moment that you felt very proud, or there was like a job that you did or a project that you worked that you go back and go like, my God, that's something that's always gonna be remarkable for me because I'm very proud of. There is something you can share?
Sure. For me, it was the moment I got into drama school. So I went to a school called the Royal Conservatoire of Scotland in Glasgow, and where I'm from, not an awful lot of people go to the school. It's a very difficult school to get into. But I spent years working to get into the school. Like I think it was about 2-3 years, constantly working on monologues, constantly working on songs. And the culmination of that work was the acceptance that got me into the school. And I think, growing up in drama or theatre, being in this drama club or being in the University Drama Society, people weren't the friendliest. They would always say, "No, you're not very good, Brian," or "You're terrible." And they're fine enough to say that, however, whatever their intention was. But for me, me getting into this school was the confirmation that they were wrong, and I think that was a turning point for me, and I think that was the moment I was most proud of. It wasn't exactly a performance moment, but it was a sort of milestone in my performance skills, I guess.
Amazing, good one. Next question is, do you have any nicknames?
Oh, loser. No. I don't know. Nicknames. I don't think I do. I mean, like I've had nicknames over the years. Brain was one of them. Brain is my most earliest nickname I can think of, because my name is Brian, and people would always misspell it, and and people would just call me Brain. Um, I I genuinely don't think I have had any other nicknames that wasn't from a girlfriend sort of person. I think it's just been Brian this whole time.
Your family, your mom as well, always call you Brian, your mom?
Mom calls me Anthony. Because my middle name.
I see. Very good. 2 questions left for you. Let's do it. By the way, you always had this very strong voice, or you kind of, because of your career, you kind of it kind of got this way?
No, the reason I sound like this right now is because I've not drunk any water in a good 5 hours. I'm very, very dehydrated at the moment. But there was one point in my schooling, I think it was my first or second year of high school, where I sounded really, really, really high, and just the next day I just went like all the way down, and my Adam's apple just shot right out. So I ended up with this deepish voice. It's normally a bit higher than it is right now, but it's just because I'm very thirsty.
Do you want to drink some water?
Oh, it's fine.
Next question for you is, I'm going to skip this one. Tell something interesting about yourself. You already talked about that in the beginning. Right. Next question is, what is one food you could eat for the rest of your life?
One food I can eat for the rest of my life. Now, I can't decide if I would go for home comforts or Asian. And by home comforts, I mean Western. So I guess it really boils down to my personality. You know, I'm a mix of East and West, and I mean, I would say fried chicken. And the reason I would say that is because it's one food that both Asian people and Western people can agree on. In Indonesia, at least, people eat fried chicken everywhere in Indonesia. KFC is a very popular brand, but as well as that, you know, many street vendors have their own like fried chicken, and I would dare say it's better than the KFC that we have in this country. It's really good. So I'd probably settle with fried chicken because I just can't decide on East or West.
Do you like cooking, by the way?
Yeah, mostly. I mean, I wish I had time to do more cooking in London, but you know, London is just one of those places where you just don't have time for yourself. Except today. Today I will be doing some cooking, but usually I don't have time for it. But yes, I do.
Easy. Ready for the last one?
Yeah, let's go.
Let's do it. But before the last question, people watching the interview right now, would you like to start a career as an actor or as an artist, following their gifts? What would be your best piece of advice?
I would say follow your own path. I would say don't worry about what other people are saying or doing. You choose this path, and you're going to be up against a lot of disappointment, a lot of comparison, and as well, I think you're going to be up against a lot of not reaching the usual milestones. Expect to get married a little bit later, expect to have children a lot later, and expect to not pay off your mortgage anytime soon. That's generally what I would say.
Last question for you is, what is the best first date have you ever been on?
Best first date I've ever been on. Now, I can't speak much for London in terms of the dating arena. I can speak very much for Glasgow as the greatest place in the world to go on a date. Now, there was this girl many years ago who I didn't mean to go out on a date with her. She didn't mean to go on a date with me either. We met on a course. We met on a course one day. It was a weekend course. Neither of us actually lived in Glasgow, and she said, "There's this great place in town that you should go to. It's it's got like a bar. It was basically a street of different bars, and I was like, oh, okay, well, why don't you show me where it is? And she's like, what? And she's like, and I was like, show me where it is. And she was like, oh no, I was just gonna go home, but I was like, okay, when's the last train? And she was like 11:30, and I was like, great, go at 11:30. So we ended up going to this really cute street in Glasgow, and it's very narrow, but all these different bars with like fairy lights hanging off of it. And there was something really nice about the spontaneity, the price of the alcohol as well was great too, and just there was something magical almost about that night. Now, I don't have any more contact with this person. I hope they're doing well. But the reason that was the best date for me was knowing that life can throw things at you, can throw nice curveballs when you least expect it. And I think that was a good indication that, you know, things can be bad, but also things can unexpectedly be good as well. And I think that was the reason why I think it was the best date ever.
Amazing, very good. Right, it's not the end yet. Let's play now the word association game, okay? I'm going to give away some words. Just tell one word that comes to your mind. Quick thinking, okay? So, I hope you are enjoying the interview. Before we do the word association game, don't forget to give a like, don't forget to share this video, and also don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Just click on the button right there. Thank you so much and enjoy the word association game. Money.
Bike.
I'll say?
Bicycle.
Oh, okay. Family.
Women.
One word for love.
Heart.
One word for life.
Grass.
Sex.
Bed.
Politics.
Scotland.
Religion.
Church.
Fear.
Fire.
Friendship.
Bond.
Desire.
Lust.
Regret.
Pain.
Success.
Money.
Wish.
Dreams.
Happiness.
Gold.
One word for London.
Horrible.
One word for Scotland.
Amazing.
One word for acting.
Hard.
Amazing. And the last one now, actor, one word.
Brian Maitland.
Amazing. Let's pretend now I'm going to meet your best friend for a coffee, and I'm going to ask your best friends. Tell me the most beautiful thing about Brian, and tell me something that he still needs to work on, to improve on. What your best friend would say?
My best friend would say, "Wow, Brian's got really nice hair," but also, that guy would also say, he needs to stop worrying about what other people think of him. I think that's the most important thing. He needs to stop worrying about that, because that's not important.
And why he would say that? Why he had this impression that you worry about what people think of you? Why?
I think other people's opinions bother, but also influence what I do on many occasions. And I know it's not healthy, but you know, we're social beings, and we do care about what other people think, because at the end of the day, we're afraid of rejection.
It's true. Good point. Right, let's play now. Brian in the magic box, and you can ask me a question. Okay, Brian, you can ask me a question now.
Okay. I would like to know the brand of your shirt and where you got the waistcoat from.
Right, the brand of my shirt. Oh, I need to see. Actually, I know that, but I don't remember. It's what's the name? You know what? I'm gonna check. I need to check that. Just bear with me. Lewin.
Oh, TM Lewin.
T. Lewin. Yes, T. Lewin. Yes,
I know it.
yes.
I know it, yeah.
You know the brands.
I recently have done a lot of clothes shopping because I've updated my wardrobe quite a bit. Like so basically, all this is from charity shops, and that's all like Polo Ralph Lauren, Burberry. I've just been trying to like Superdry as well, like trying to update absolutely everything. So I've come to know a lot of brands that people wear in London, and also because of that, like I'm very like I hone in on what people are wearing, just because I just have eyes for it now. So yeah.
And my waistcoat, I don't remember actually where I got it, but it's been for a while now. I've been the waistcoat. I haven't wear for a while, and sometimes when I put the shorts, I just feel like have a waistcoat. But yeah, maybe I don't think it was the same place, but yeah, I don't remember where I got it from.
Well, if you find out, let me know.
Very creative, yeah, very creative for sure. Brian, did you like the interview?
I loved the interview. It was very, very enjoyable.
Thanks so much for taking the time and being so kind and accepting the invitation. But before you go, if you can share a positive message, something that you live by.
Positive message, something that I live by. Keep on moving. The sun will always come out tomorrow.
Amazing. Very good. Brian, thanks so much for the interview, and keep in touch, okay?
Thank you. Have a great day, yeah?
Bye. So, did you like the show? Don't forget to give a like, to share it, and also don't forget to subscribe to the channel. And if you'd like to be part of the show as well, first, subscribe to our channel, and after that, just go to our website, www.williamandthemagicbox.com, and send us a request saying why you'd like to be part of the show. And I see you there. Bye bye, see you next time.